So can I do it? Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Javed Hussain Memon, Professor of Pathology, Pumps Nawabshah. Today we start with a new unit in general pathology. You already covered the cell injury and cellular adaptation and the inflammation comprising acute inflammation, chronic inflammation, and also the repair and the repair of the tissue. So new plaza they also can be continuously. So today I am also taking the class of the general pathology, new unit, fluid and hemodynamic disorders. They can contributing the topic related to the edema and also the hyperemia and congestion, thrombosis and embolism, and also the infarction and the shock. So these are the major pathological changes in general pathology. We also can be discussing in this unit. So today we also now we can discussing normal some introduction about the fluid hemodynamic disorders, the hallmark of the cells and organs, the hallmark of the cells and organs, and they also can be typically depends on unbroken circulation of the fluid. ठीक है बेटा, unbroken circulation and to deliver the oxygen and the nutrients and also the removal of the waste products. So now however the well-being of the tissue, and also requires the normal fluid balance. If there is an abnormalities within the vascular permeability, when there the abnormality occur within the vascular permeability, and then the hemostasis, and also resulting the formation of injury, and eventually in the setting of the intact blood flow. So we also can be discussing there is some normal homeostasis. So normal homeostasis in this, and there the major lesions, they will also can be major lesions, and they will also can occurring. They also can be including number one, there is the edema, and there also can call the hemorrhage and hyperemia or congestion, thrombosis, embolism, infarction, and the shock. So these are the normal some of the pathological topic in our unit. So that the normal fluid homeostasis, they also can be encompass, and there is a encompass, and there also can be maintenance of the vascular vessel wall integrity, as well as vessel wall integrity, and as well as the intravascular pressure and osmolarity. So this is also the function of the normal homeostasis, and within the and certain physiological ranges. Okay, so this is also a normal mechanism of the homeostasis to maintenance of the normal integrity of the vessel wall and to maintain the osmolarity and of the within the intravascular flow. Now, sometimes the changes occur within the vascular volume and the pressure or protein content. Protein content are the alteration, and they also can occur within the endothelial function. Endothelial functions and all affects the all affect the net movements of the water across the across the vascular wall. Some there the such there the abnormalities also can occur in these vessel wall. So now some there the now we also can be discussing there the normal overall there the distribution of the normal body weight. So now the overall distribution, now disturbances they also can occur, and within the normal blood flow, and they are the major sources of the for development of the human morbidity and mortality. So they also can be contributing, and some there is the development of the some conditions like the development of the formation of thrombosis. They can lead to the embolism, and thrombosis they form the myocardial function and in the heart, and also can occur within the central nervous system. They can leading to the some there the development of the cerebrovascular accidents. Approximately, so normal phenomena of the body fluids. So approximately 60% of the lean body weight, lean body weight is also a water. The two third of the water, is also there is a intracellular fluid, and the remaining they also can be found and within the extracellular space. Okay, so this is also a mostly they also can occur mostly this is also called as interstitial fluid only. Okay, now the remaining 5% is also a blood plasma. तो जो remaining 5% बेटा जो था वो बाकी remaining 5% they are the blood plasmas. Now we can discussing a topic related to the imbalance or some there the development of the edema. So now we can discussing a important topic called edema. The term edema they also can be signifies, and there is the excessive accumulation of the fluid and within the interstitial tissue space or the body cavities, and they also can leading to the formation of the edema. Now, in addition, they can depending upon the site of the fluid collection or fluid accumulations, and in the different body cavities are body tissue spaces, and they are in the variously designated as number one. They're called as a hydrothorax. The hydrothorax, it is also defined the collection of the abnormal accumulation, a collection or abnormal accumulation of the fluid and within the fluid cavities. And next term is a hydropericardium. Hydropericardium, it is also a condition which also can be characterized by the abnormal accumulation of fluid and within the pericardial cavity. And third term is a hydroperitoneum. It is also a collection of the abnormal fluid amount of the fluid within the peritoneal cavity. So these are the three terms. They are also concerning and the body cavities like the hydrothorax and then the hydropericardium and hydroperitoneum. Now, however, the number one there the hydroperi. Now the another condition is anasarca. Anasarca is a severe and generalized edema, and they will also can be generalized edema. They will also can occur within the subcutaneous tissues, and they also can leading to the different body organs, and they also can showing the tissue swelling. Now they are the pathophysiological categories of the edema. Number one, first of all, there's increased hydrostatic pressure. Another one, there's a reduced uh, plasma oncotic pressure or osmotic pressure. And third one is a lymphatic obstruction. And fourth one is the sodium and water retention. And fifth one is the inflammation. So all are first four, and they also containing comprising the transitive fluid, and also a non-inflammatory edema in the last. Fifth number is inflammation. They also can be leading to the inflammatory edema formation of the inflammatory edema. They can lead to the increased vascular permeability. आपने बड़ा inflammation में पढ़ा हुआ है कि इनकी vascular permeability also can lead to the exudation. Exudation, which is a protein rich fluid, and they also having specific gravity is more than 1.020, and they also having the plenty of the RBCs and also the inflammatory cells. They also can present in the inflammatory condition. So the all are four, and they also containing the transitive fluid. So they are the protein poor fluid, and they also having the specific gravity is less than 1.012, and also there's a minor amount of the cell, a few cells and few of the fibrinogens also can be present over here. Okay, so these are the five mechanisms and for the contributing in the pathophysiology of the edemas. Now, there the mechanism. It is the the mechanism of the inflammatory edema. The mechanism of the inflammatory edema, and they are largely related to the uh, local increased in the vascular permeability. Local increase in the vascular permeability, and the non-inflammatory causes of the edema, non-inflammatory causes of the edemas, and they are also can be discussed later on. So, because of the increased vascular permeability, inflammatory edema, it is also protein rich fluid, and also having a specific gravity is one more than 1.020, and have the more amount of the cells present. And conversely, in the non-inflammatory edema, they are also having the transitive fluid, and then the hydrodynamic, most probably hydrodynamic derangements. So in which there are the transitory fluid containing the low protein content, and also the specific gravity is also below 1.012. In case of in general, in most probably in general, and there's the opposing. Now the mechanism of the edema formation in the normal physiological condition or the in the normal generalized mechanism, the opposing effects of the vascular hydrostatic pressure and plasma polar oncotic pressure and plasma oncotic pressure, and they also a major factor, and that can be Agasali? ऐसा करो नहीं करो
हाँ बस नहीं क्रॉस कर
that's all बस नहीं क्रॉस करना ही बस हो गया ठीक है मेहरबानी so now the normal pathogenesis of the edema form in general in the normal physiological condition the opposing effects of the vascular hydrostatic pressure and plasma colloid osmotic pressure, they are the major factors. They are the major factor which governs the movement of the fluid between the movement of the fluid and between the vascular and interstitial tissue space. So there the intravascular hydrostatic pressure which pull the fluid out of the vessel and which can be balanced by the polar oncotic pressure which can be balanced by the plasma oncotic pressure. They can, if they are either the increased hydrostatic pressure or by diminished plasma polar oncotic pressure, and they will also can lead to the accumulation of the interstitial fluid and within the interstitial space. So they are termed as the edema. So edema is an now we can again repeat the definition of the edema. So edema is also an abnormal accumulation of fluid and within the interstitial tissue space. Okay, so this is also a mechanism of the edema. So now these are the mechanism of the number one. First of all, there are 5 mechanisms. They also can be causing the edema. Number one, increased hydrostatic pressure, and then the reduced plasma colloid oncotic pressure, and third one is there's a lymphatic obstruction, and fourth one is the inflammatory condition, and fifth one is the sodium water retention. Now there's increased hydrostatic pressure. There's an increase in the hydrostatic pressure, and may also can be resulting from the impaired venous drainage or the impaired venous outflow, and for example in the deep vein thrombosis and in the lower extremities, and they also can leading to the edema formation, and they will also can be which also can be restricting the movements of leg due to the immobilization. So now one that the generalized edema, they will also can cause the increase in the venous pressure. They also can be causing with resulting that the systemic edema, systemic edema, they will also can be increased they also can increase the venous pressure, they also can be resulting the congestive heart failure, congestive pericarditis, and most probably, so these are the most important causes. They also can contributing in the generality, the congestive pericarditis and the hypothyroidism. So these are the, and Cushing syndrome, they are the some cause of the general edema. So increased hydrostatic pressure, they will also occur resulting from the impaired venous outflow, for example, in the deep vein thrombosis, and also can be occur in the lower extremities, and which also can leading to the edema formation. Edema, and they also can be, which also can be resulting from the and general, the cause of the general edema due to the increased hydrostatic pressure. They also can be increased venous pressure. They also can be causing congestive heart failure and congestive pericarditis, renal failure. So these are the some causes related to the increased hydrostatic pressure. So there's the congestive heart failure. Congestive heart failure, it is also associated, most probably, also can be associated and with reduced cardiac output. Congestive heart failure is also can be caused by the reduced cardiac output, and also therefore they also can be reduced, most probably the renal perfusion. Okay, so they also can be caused by the congestive heart failure. So these are the some mechanisms: renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, their compensatory mechanism. Now another mechanism and for the development of the edema formation, reduced plasma colon oncotic pressure. Reduced plasma colon oncotic pressure, reduced plasma osmotic pressure, and they also can be resulting from the excessive loss of the protein, excessive loss or the reduced synthesis of the albumin, and they also can lead into some pathology or the serum protein. Most probably they also the serum protein most responsible and for the maintaining the colon osmotic pressure. So the most important causes and for the reduced plasma colon oncotic pressure, there is an increased loss of the protein or the decreased synthesis of the protein. In case of the increased loss of protein, in case of the nephrotic syndrome, and also the renal diseases, acute glomerulonephritis, and also the decreased synthesis of the protein, the most important cause is the liver cirrhosis. And there the gastroenteropathy and malnutrition. So these are the some the important causes of the reduced plasma colon oncotic pressure. Reduced albumin, and in the reduce, most probably the reduced albumin synthesis, and they will also can be occurs in the setting of the diffuse pathology, and for example there is the liver cirrhosis. Okay, so these are the most important liver cirrhosis, and also the most probably there is a and the consequence of the protein malnutrition. So these are the most important cause of the liver synthesis. The most important cause related with the liver cirrhosis in the case of the decreased synthesis of the protein, and also there's a loss of protein within the urine, and there's also the leading formation of the nephrotic syndrome and acute and chronic glomerulonephritis and malnutrition. Now the lymphatic obstruction. Lymphatic obstruction, they also can be occur. And third one is the lymphatic obstruction. They are impaired lymphatic drainage, impaired lymphatic drainage, and they are the consequence of the impaired. They also can be called consequence of the lymphedema, and it is usually, and they will, it also can be usually localized, and it also can be resulting from and from the inflammatory and or by the neoplastic condition and the post irradiation. So these are the most common cause for the lymphatic obstruction. They are the impaired lymphatic drainage, impaired lymphatic drainage, and they are the consequence of the lymphatic, for the consequence of the lymphedema. It is usually localized, so it also can be it also can resulting from the can resulting and from the inflammation, can be caused from the neoplasms and by the compression of the tumor mass and or by the some post irradiation fibrosis. And for example, and the parasitic infection in which parasitic infection, they are often they also can be caused by the massive most probably also can cause the lymphatic most probably massive lymphatic edema. Okay, the massive lymphatic and also the lymph node fibrosis. Okay, they also can cause a lymphatic fibrosis because due to the elephantiasis or filled, they also can be caused by parasitic infection, which is a bankruptcy, and within the inguinal lymph nodes, they also can produce the obstruction of the inguinal lymphatics, and they also can leading to the edema within the leg. They are called as the elephantiasis. And the restriction of the regional, they also can be the resulting edema fluid within the subcutaneous tissues, and they will also can be the resulting edema of the external genitalia and the lower limb. Lower limb is also can be is so extreme. It also can be so extreme. So it is also most probably it also can be called as a elephantiasis. So now we also can be see some of the feature of the elephantiasis. So this is also a feature of the elephantiasis is also a heat swelling of the affected part of the leg because due to the impaired drainage of the inguinal lymphatics, and they can lead to lymph node fibrosis, and the cause is inflammatory or some this the cause is also can be parasitic infection by the Bancroft. Now another cause is the cancer of the carcinoma or the cancer of the breast tissue, and maybe also can be treated also can be by the removal of the irradiation, or by the both by the removal of the axial tail along with the breast. They call radical mastectomy. So they will also can be cause obstruction of the lymphatics, and they also can leading to the lymphatic obstruction. They can lead to lymphedema, and they can producing the non-pitting edema within the arm. So they also can be called the severe edema of the affected part of leg, affected part of the arm. the most important cause of the scarring, and they also can be related to the important cause is the mastectomy, radical mastectomy after resection of the renal lymphatics and along with the lymph node exit tail. So they also can leading to the fibrosis or scarring, and they can lead to the edema formation within the affected part of the axilla. In the carcinoma of the breast, most probably there's the infiltration and obstruction of the superficial obstruction of the superficial lymphatics, and they also can causes the edema. They also can causes the edema of the overlying skin, and they also can to the give rise to the they also can be called as a orange peel appearance. They also called as the subcutaneous edema. They will also can occur within the affected part of the skin. In case of the infiltration or there the carcinoma of the breast, they also can be disseminated and they also can cause obstruction of the superficial lymphatics, and they also can leading to the they also can causing the edema of the overlying skin. They can give rise to the appearance like the Pete's orange peel appearance. Okay, a petite appearance, they will also can appearance, and to the resulting petite appearance, they also resulting and from accentuation and of the affected part of the depression of the affected areas, and they also can leading to the a pit form. They also can occur formation of the pitting edema. Now another one is the sodium and water retention, fourth mechanism. So number one, there is the sodium and the water retention. Sodium and water retentions, and they also can be contributory factors. They also can be contributory factors in the contributory factors in the several forms of edema. However, salt, they also can be salt retention along with the obligate water. They also can leading to the sodium water retention. Now the sodium and water retention, they will also can be occurs in the acute most probably also can occur in the acute reduction in the renal function, and also they also can be including the glomerulonephritis and also the acute renal failure. So these are the renal failure. These are most important cause for the causing for the sodium and water retention. Sodium water retention, they are also may also can be occur. Now morphological condition, morphology and inflammatory condition, because they also can be caused by the increased intravascular permeability. So now we can also see the mechanisms of the so this is also a mechanism of the increased intravascular permeability, changes in the vascular flow, formation of the edema. So this is a normal laminar flow of the vascular vessels. Some the edema form. So these are the some 5 mechanisms. Number one, there is the plasma core own coding pressure, increased hydrostatic pressure, the important cause like the cardiac failure, deep vein thrombosis, and also the congestive heart failure, congestive pericarditis. So these are the most important causes that are contributing in the due to the increased hydrostatic pressure. And also the another mechanism, the reduced plasma oncotic pressure, they also contributing there the increased protein loss in the urine in case of the and occur in the Rayford syndrome, and also the decreased synthesis of the protein, most commonly occur in the liver cirrhosis and hyperproteinemias. So this is also reduced plasma colon pressure, the most important cause already discussed here. So nephrotic syndrome and the malnutrition and also the liver cirrhosis, these are the most important causes. And sodium water retention, so the most important cause of kidney failure and acute liver necrosis, and also the some there are the glomerulonephritis, renal failure. So these are some important causes related to sodium and water retention. And then so they also can cause the lymphatic obstruction. Lymphatic obstruction because due to the some there the lymphatic obstruction. They also most probably also can occur the acute inflammation, chronic post irradiation. So these are the most neoplastic compression, or the tumor mass, or the recession of the regional lymph nodes, and in the mesostomy. So they also lead to the obstruction of the lymphatics. They can lead to edema fluid formation. Now the inflammatory, the most important acute inflammation, chronic inflammation, and also the angiogenesis, and these are the most important causes related to the increased intravascular, the increased vascular permeability. So these are the edema of the venous obstruction. They also can leading to the local type of the edema. They also can occur in the form. It is also caused by the increased hydrostatic pressure. So they also can be another form is edema. They also can be shown ascites. Because ascites is an abnormal accumulation of fluid, and within the peritoneal cavity, they also can show the ascites is also a feature of the liver cirrhosis and the different type of the diseases. This is also some other the edema formations. Now, so this is also some that the endonephrotic edema, and this is also called as the some that the lymphatic obstruction, lymphatic edema. They also can be showing. So this is also a lymphatic edema. They also can showing there the elephantiasis. They also can be called or the filariasis. Filariasis also can be caused by the some there the obstruction of the inguinal lymph nodes, and they can lead to the affected part of the leg. They also can become swell, and they also can be caused by some parasitic infection. They also can be caused by the Bucherer Bancroft. So this is also a formation of the some there the inflammatory edema. They also can be caused by the increased vascular permeability. They also can lead to formation of the exuded fluid, and they also can formation of the abscess form. So this is also a form. Now these are the some gross pictures of the edemas. Now the morphological of the morphology of the edema. There the edema. It is also can is most commonly they also can be they also recognized as the grossly they also can and the microscopically, and the edema tissue they will also can edema filler, and they also can generally they also can give rise to the cellular swelling. Okay, so they will also can form the different parts of the edema. They are also going to be showing there is subcutaneous edemas. Number one, there is subcutaneous edema. Edema, they also can work as subcutaneous edema, subcutaneous edemas, and maybe also can be diffuse, and or maybe they also can be occurs with they also can occur when the hydrostatic pressure. They will also can be pressures, and they also can be greatly increased. Okay, so they also can be subcutaneous edema in the dependent part of the leg. They also confirm that due to the immobilization. Okay, another form, there is also a edema, and they also can be resulting from the hydrostatic, and they also can be called the hypoproteinemia, hypoproteinemias. They also can occur due to the nephrotic syndrome, and also the liver cirrhosis, because due to the increased loss of the protein in the urine, there's the nephrotic syndrome, and there's the decreased synthesis of the protein in the liver cirrhosis. So the another form, the pulmonary edema, they also can form grossly. So another edema called the brain edema. Brain edema, they will also can be most important localized cause, and there are the generalized cause, abscess formation, and there the meningitis, and there these are the tumor mass. So these are the some localized causes. They also contributing for formation of the brain edema. There the generalized cause, there the encephalitis, and there the obstruction of the ventricular outflow, and they also can lead into hydrocephalus. So this is also called as the brain edema in the different part of the brain. So these are the some clinical manifestation of the clinical features of the some there the formation of the subcutaneous edema. So these are the some pictures, and there's 5 mechanisms of the are contributing in the pathogenesis of the edema formation. This is also a venous obstruction, accumulation of the fluid, and within the most probably so these are already discussed here. Elephantiasis. This is also called as the inflammatory edema. So we also can confirm the pitting edema. First of all, there is most probably there also can occur in the dependent part of the dependent edema. They also can occur in the lower leg. We also can be pressing affected part of the edematous leg, and we also can be depression, and over the affected part of the edema. They also can form the pit. They also can occur in the dependent part of the leg. So this is also a pitting edema. We also can show the depression on the affected part of the edema. So these are the some most probably. So these are some causes of the localized edema in the brain edema. They also can occur, and due abscess formation, neoplasms, and also the generalized causes like the hydrocephalus, and then the uh, there the hypertensive crisis and encephalitis. So these are the most important causes. So this is all of about the edema. So in edema, we also can discussing here. First of all, there is you know about the definition of the edema, and then after edema fluid also can be distributed in the different part of the body cavities called the hydrothorax and hydropericardium and the hydroperitoneum and a circa few terms, and they also having there the pathophysiological categories and pathogenesis. Pathogenesis of the edema formation. In the non-physiological condition, the vascular hydrostatic pressure, the opposing effects of the vascular hydrostatic pressure and the plasma colon oncotic pressure, and they are major factor and which governs the movement of the fluid and between the vascular and the interstitial tissue spaces. If there is the vascular hydrostatic pressure pull out of the pull the fluid out of the vessel, which can be balanced by the plasma colon oncotic pressure. If either increase hydrostatic pressure or by decreased plasma oncotic pressure, they also can lead to the accumulation of fluid within interstitial space or the tissue space called as edema. Edema की term बड़ा आनी चाहिए, and then after mechanism or the pathophysiological categories of the edema. So there are different pathophysiological categories of the edema. Number one, there is increased hydrostatic pressure, reduced plasma oncotic pressure, along with the causes lymphatic obstruction, and also some there is a sodium and water retention, and then after the inflammatory condition, they can cause acute, chronic, and angiogenesis. So these are the some causes of the for contributing in the pathogenesis of the edema formation. Okay, but this is also a summary, and then there are morphological features, the edema and the subcutaneous tissues, and the brain edema, pulmonedema, and the clinical manifestation. You know about the pitting edema, so different. They are also there in photomicrograph, in the gross pictures. We already seen the different parts of the edema. They also can be seen in the dependent part of the leg, and also the in case of lymphatic obstruction, elephantiasis. Okay, beta. So this is all about. So these are the some causes we already written here. The different figures. Okay, beta. Thank you. So. So these are some causes related to the most important causes already here. There is the increased hydrostatic pressure. There are different causes in the causes localized and generalized. Okay, there are some causes. There is the venous thrombosis, and there is the and generalized causes. They are solving cardiac failure, congestive heart failure, congestive pericarditis, and there is the edema, hypothyroidism. These are most important causes, and these are the causes of the reduced plasma oncotic pressure. Okay, and these are the some causes related to the lymphatic obstruction, and there the surgical removal of the lymph nodes and the lymphatics, and they also can be cause some fibrosis, and they also can leading to the compression of the tumor mass, and they will also can be tumor metastasis or dissemination, filariasis. So these are the some common causes. And there is the sodium and water retention. So these are the some causes related with the their renal disorders, glomerulonephritis, and they are showing the renal failure. So these are the some related cause of the sodium and water retention, and some there is the inflammation, the abscess formations due to the formation of the exudative fluid and the transudate fluid. Okay, beta. So this is all about. Okay, but this is also a brain edema. You also can see the herniation, and so they also can some the serious pleural fluid accumulation of the watery fluid within the pleural cavity. Beware. So this is also a fuel. Most probably they also can occur in the serous type of the fluid. They also can occur because due to some trauma and hemorrhagic condition. And this is also fibrous pericarditis. This is also a complication of the myocardial function. Now this is also some hemothorax, accumulation of blood within the thoracic cavity or the thoracic space. This is also a chylous accumulation or chylocytis, milky white accumulation of the fluid within the peridural cavity. So this is all of about the edema fluid. So they will also having the five mechanisms already discussed here, and also the pathophysiology of the edema fluid formation, and along the causes of the generalized edema and the local edema. Localized edema, they are the contributing number one, the inflammatory cause, inflammatory edema and allergy type of edema, and there the deep vein thrombosis. Also called the localized type of edema, and the generalized edema, the most important cause of the generalized edema, and they also can be first of all cardiac failure, constipated colitis, and they also having the nephrotic syndrome and Cushing syndrome, and there is a hypothyroidism. They form the edema fluid. So these are the some causes are the most important causes of the generalized edema. So this is all of about all of about the edema. So inshallah we also can be next class on the edema and congestion and hemorrhage and the next week. Thank you, madam.